I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body belongs to me. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Content, hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I wanna taste consumption. Breathe faster to waste oxygen. Hear the children sing aloud. It's music till the wick burns out. Be carefree lately, yeah. Just kicking up daisies. Got one too many quarters in my pockets. Counting like the 4-leaf clovers in my locket. Untied laces, yeah. Just tripping on daydreams. Got dirty little lullabies playing on repeat. Might as well just ride around the nursery and count sheep.
I figured it all out. You think that you want it, it's all a facade, yeah. You want adrenaline, fuck the consistency, fuck the emotions. I figured it all out. You think that you want it, it's all a facade, yeah. You want adrenaline, fuck the consistency, fuck the emotions. You fully loaded. before I see it. You shoot, you shoot.
You could never see him out of sight. Pull up on you staring at the light. Don't tell me don't push me. 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 You could never see. You could never see him out of sight. Pull up on you staring at the light. Don't tell me don't push me. Don't tell me don't push me. Don't tell me don't push me. Don't tell me don't push me.
You pulled my hands right off the edge, right off the edge. Gave me no answers, gave me no answers. I heard your voice inside my head, inside my head. I heard your laughter, I heard your laughter. You pulled my hands right off the edge, right off the edge. Gave me no answers, gave me no answers. I heard your voice inside my head, inside my head. I heard your laughter, I heard your laughter.
You could never see him out of sight. Pull up on you staring at the light. Don't tell me don't push me. 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 You could never see. You could never see him out of sight. Pull up on you staring at the light. Don't tell me don't push me. Don't tell me don't push me. Don't tell me don't push me. Don't tell me don't push me.
I feel it in my head, my shoulders, knees and toes, my bones. Your music gets me through the highs and lows. My head, shoulders, knees and toes, my bones. You're keeping me from feeling all alone. I've been praying to 1,000 different stars, to 1,000 different arms, till I found you. I've been chasing by 1,000 different hearts, to 1,000 million hours. Now I found you. My nights will never be the same again. I got you running through my veins. I feel it in my head, my shoulders, knees and toes, my bones. Your music gets me through the highs and lows. My head, my shoulders, knees and toes, my bones. You keeping me from feeling all alone. You're keeping me from feeling all alone. You're keeping me from feeling all alone. Let me breathe you, take you down into my lungs, while we dance into the sun. Now that I found you, you're a part of me, now I can't let you go. You're the heartbeat of my soul, now that I found you. My nights will never be the same again. I got you running.
Hello and welcome to day number 12 of the Howling eSports League Season 1, presented by the Howling eSports organization. Tonight, we have Logan Ma taking on Galactics eSports, followed by Fantastic eSports, looking to secure a playoff spot in their matchup with Kraljevic Serbia. On the call for the day, I am Jarl Krieger, alongside my friend Brian Baymax Custer.
Thanks for the introduction, Carl. It was a good introduction, as always, and it's good to be here, as always. If we take a look at the standings quickly, we got those up on the screen for you guys. Lagama and Lethal Rage sitting at the top, 9-2 and 9-3, respectively. Both of those teams, by the way, have guaranteed a locked-in spot for playoffs. 9 wins is that playoff spot. So, Lagama, Lethal Rage, already there. Manaspa, Fantastic Esports, and basically everybody else still in contention, still fighting for those spots, but we only have 2 days of games left after today, so things are going to start closing in real quick.
Yeah, certainly very, very close to the playoff spots being locked. Fantastic Esports, if they win, they will be in the playoff position just because of their, they will have a bye in one of these weeks, their game against Harmony, of course, so that free game will boost them up into that playoff position. Galactic Esports may also have to lose. Some interesting mathematical situations going on with that one. Galactic's fighting for their lives. But I think, we'll know a lot more after the games are concluded for the day. We'll have those updated standings for you. Only 2 games left to go. A lot less permutations that could come through. But some very important games. This is kind of your last chance. If you want to make a run for the playoffs, you have to start doing it today.
Yeah, this is it. We've been talking about it. It's been close this entire season. The top 2 spots have always been Lagama and Lethal Rage, but everything else has been in contention this entire time. And right now, if we're talking about predictions for playoffs, I think obviously Manaspa is 7-5. They got a bit of an edge. They are very close to that playoff spot. Fantastic Esports as well is essentially on their 7th win. So like you said, if they win today, they will confirm, they will lock in that playoff spot. So it's really up to those teams to decide who ends up getting those playoff spots and who doesn't, right? If you're one of those bottom of the pack teams, you're kind of just hoping that Fantastic Esports or Manaspa kind of falter here. But we'll take a step in to this current game that we're about to look at here. Game number 1 on the stream today is Lagama versus Galactics Esports, which, boy, that is a scary matchup if you're fighting for your life to get that playoff spot, because Lagama are a very scary team.
Yeah, this is a team that has not lost a best of 1 so far. Just terrifying in this league. Galactics certainly have their work cut out for them. But like you said, these teams, a lot of them have their own fate in their hands. And, some of them need to hope a little bit more than others. But if you can go on a 3-0 run at the end of the season, probably can make the playoffs, right? If you're going to be in that run of form, proving that you do deserve that playoff spot. We're going to see how this is. For right now, we're going to send it into the Champion Select for game number 1. Welcome back, everybody, to the Champion Select proper. Looks like at least for me, my Discord screen is frozen a little bit. There we go.
I can
back
take it. Oh, you're good?
Board. No, we're good, but we're into the Champion Select. Lagama versus Galactics.
Lagama versus Galactics Esports, and we talked a little bit about this matchup before we went live on air, Carl. Lagama are a team, they like to take control, they like to take the fight to the other team early on, they like to play for that early and mid game. They like champions like Oriana, Camille, Caitlyn has been a flavor of the patch sort of champion, very, very strong since patch 10-15, I think is when that buff ended up coming through on her. So I think it was actually last week we saw Lagama draft. Hold on, I'm looking for it. I didn't highlight it. There we go. Mordekaiser, Kindred, Oriana, Ashe, and Lulu. They basically took pressure everywhere, and they didn't let up. And that was versus GTK, and they absolutely crushed them. Same thing, too. The game before that, they played against Kraljevina, Serbia, and they also had Oriana, but that time Caitlyn was not banned, Camille was not banned. They took both of those champions. So far, Caitlyn and Camille still open. I definitely expect priority from Lagama on one of those champions. At least one of them is going to get through draft. So that is already scary for Galactics. Also, Olaf is a champion that we've seen a lot of priority on in the jungle for Ventum. So Lagama have a lot of power picks open and available to them right now. The Caitlyn did get banned away, so I'm looking at a Camille first pick potentially coming through here.
Ashe, also a top tier choice. I'm going to go it's not going to be Teemo. Just kind of a shot in the dark on that one. But Caitlyn and Ashe have kind of become the 2 top tier AD carries thus far. I would expect maybe to see the Ashe come through. Really depends what power pick they want to take first, that Olaf, the Camille, or the Ashe. I think it will be one of those three. Unlikely to be a Rammus. They decided to opt for the Ezreal. Kai'Sa, the insta-lock in return. What do I know? Apparently Ashe is off the table, at least for this game.
I'm very surprised by this. Camille's still open, still available if Lagama wanted to draft it, and I definitely expect an aggressive top half of the map from Lagama. This is a little interesting, though. I feel like generally the bottom lane from Lagama, they draft playmaking champions, so the Nautilus is in line with that. The Ezreal is actually something that Yopa has shied away from just a little bit, something that normally more aggressive picks, like you mentioned, the Ashe, the Caitlyn, it wasn't available, but Ashe was available. Even something like a Jhin got buffed last patch, he's seen a little bit higher priority, but Ezreal certainly not a weak champion, just a little bit not what I would expect necessarily come out of Lagama, but it is still strong, especially if you've got a strong top half of the map to carry you through that early game. And Kindred has been picked up for Ventum, who is a pretty strong duelist in the jungle. Not that great at getting pressure early, but not that bad at it either. And we did see Lagama have a lot of success with that pick specifically in their last game versus GTK.
These picks, Baymax, are just coming through lickety-split on this one. Blink and you're going to miss them. Zoe's been picked up, but I want to go back to the Kindred. I do like the pick. We've seen it a lot, actually, in Howling eSports. A little bit less of a priority over in North America and the LCS, at least in the playoffs so far. Haven't seen a ton of Kindreds coming through. The Rise in the top lane, this is a little bit of a curveball, I think. We haven't seen this in the top lane, at least any of the games I've cast here for Howling eSports in
Honestly,
Season 1.
This whole draft is a curveball for me, at least from Lagama. So many power picks open. I can't believe the Camille got through for Jakul. I can't believe Ashe was open and didn't get picked by either team. And we were talking a little bit about how we thought this draft might go before we went live on air, and we talked about Galactic sort of in many ways. Their preferences are as a sort of a discount Lagama. They also like drafting these sort of aggressive compositions with maybe Pantoufle on the Azir to carry them through the late game, but the sets, the Kai'Sa, the Camille, these are all sort of in line with what I might expect from the Galactics. Lagama's composition, not so much. I don't think we've seen a Zoe yet. We definitely haven't seen the Rise yet. And Ezreal, I'm not sure about. We might have seen that once or twice, but still, this doesn't necessarily fit that aggressive style that I expected to see. I honestly think that this draft gives Galactics, maybe they're not favored to win because Lagama is Lagama and they're so scary, but I think this is maybe one of the better drafting outcomes Galactics could have hoped for. We'll have to see, though. I don't really know what to expect from Lagama.
Yeah, I think a very odd team comp. Certainly, like you were saying, the Olaf is still up. I would have liked to see that come through, but whatever, these teams, Lagama is 9-0 in series so far, so I don't think we should hate on it a little bit too much. That was also not really a sentence, but we'll see what maybe they can prove it to us. If it falls completely flat, I think we can, point some question marks at them, but for now, go along, see what they've got for us. We do have a bit of a client crash coming through, so they're going to be re-picking the champions, so we've got a little bit more time to break down this draft here, but it is almost completed, so not too much of a delay, but we can continue talking about this a little bit. Bot lane wise, I'm a little surprised not to see the Ashe. We haven't seen it have a ton of success, I don't think, here in the league, at least last week, but it has kind of become the preeminent AD carry along with Caitlyn. Opting for the Kai'Sa here, along with Braum, a support we don't see that often. It's a little bit of an aggressive lane. If Braum can go for the stun, you can get a lot of the stacks for Kai'Sa on that passive, but just a little bit unusual. I'm not entirely sure how it will go against Yopa and Fico down in the bot lane. I think it'll be pretty even lane. Baymax, do you have any extra thoughts for me?
I like the Braum here, not necessarily for laning phase, but it's a good answer to Christian on the Zoe. Zoe is a pretty strong pick, and it's probably the really, I would say, the only strong early to mid game option that Lagama have drafted. And when it comes to those skirmishes in that early to mid game around maybe the Dragon or around maybe the Herald, if Naya is there on the Braum with the Unbreakable, Lagama are going to really struggle to find a way.
We're back. I think we're back. Maybe.
I don't know. I'm gonna pull up the Twitch channel. We'll try to see.
We are back, everybody.
We are back.
So.
Okay.
Yep, we can continue talking about the draft. Hopefully our Discord stream comes back here shortly, but we can still see the draft on that Twitch stream itself. So thank you to the chat as well for confirming our recovery here. We are back in business. I think we should talk about the top lane matchup just a little bit, Baymax. We have the Camille up against Rise. Really haven't seen Rise top in a long time. I know it's, been kind of not prominent for several years now, as Rise's reworks just don't really do anything to him. I would have to imagine this would be Camille favored, at least at a couple of items.
That's terrifying. That's terrifying for the Rise. Not only because of the 1v1, although I'm sure Jakul is going to be just fine in the 1v1, but it's not just a Camille, it's also a set Camille. It's a set jungle for Kenobi, right? That is a strong 2v2. Camille sets up so well for basically any jungler. Her hookshot is insane initiation for a skirmish early. Her ultimate, the Hextech Ultimatum, is absolutely nuts for keeping somebody trapped in place long enough for a jungler to get close. And Set is the kind of jungler where once he gets a hold of you, he has a hard time getting a hold of you that first time, but once he does, you're probably not getting away. You're getting dunked backwards towards the entire enemy team, you're getting stunned, you're getting whipped around, and before you know it, you are just seeing a gray screen. So that's even scarier when you're talking about, that's scary for any top laner. When we're talking about a Rise, a champion with low mobility, with no movement abilities, who doesn't have a lot of damage options early, and who's already a champion that you don't really want to play around if you're a Kindred. Like, I think 100% Galactics, they want to get this Camille ahead, they want to get Jakul fed, they should probably try to bully the crap out of this Rise lane.
I think it should be reasonably simple to do as well. I would imagine Might will take Phase Rush on the Rise for a little bit more mobility, but a lot of movement speed doesn't help you if you're stuck in that Hextech Ultimatum, if you're getting hit by the Showstopper. These are both point-and-click abilities. They're not skill shots. You can't dodge them, and I worry for this Rise in the top lane. They are on blue side, so it's a little bit harder to gank, just because you don't have as many options, but you can even go for the behind-the-turret dive, right? Showstopper him out of the tower into the Hextech Ultimatum, and I don't really imagine there's a lot of outplay potential even for this Rise. If Ventum's not babysitting this lane, I don't really see how he cannot just get smashed.
I think even if Ventum is babysitting the lane, that's a 2v2 that Lagama don't really win if Galactics play it properly, especially before level 6, but even after level 6, like, the Rise just offers too little early on, in my opinion. Normally, the one thing a Rise is really good for early is that targeted stun, and that is not that great versus a Kindred. Like, you normally want that to pair with something that either like a strong assassin that can one-shot the target while they're stunned, or somebody like a Set who's got the crowd control to follow it up with, who just needs that initial sort of oomph to get there, to get on top of that target. Kindred is not really a lot of that early. She's sort of a slower DPS over time sort of champion who doesn't have a lot of crowd control, doesn't have a lot of burst, and that's not really, like, a Rise early doesn't even set up for that all that well, and that's all he is, because he doesn't have damage early. He is just set up, and like I said, that's not something you want to be playing around if you're the Kindred anyway. Although maybe in terms of like babysitting the lane, but in terms of getting ahead, in terms of taking control of the map, which is usually what Lagama are looking to do, that is not a great way to do it. At least not on paper. Now Lagama might do some crazy Lagama things and just outskill Galactics. That could definitely happen. But Camille is such a strong pick. Set is a strong pick. Even the Azir for Pantufel is something he's very comfortable on. He's not likely to die on mid lane. I think mid lane is one of the best options Lagama have to break open this game early. We talked about the Zoe being probably their best early game skirmishing option on the map, and also Christian is a very strong player. We saw him do good things on the Orianna last time around. It's sort of a similar style champion, a strong control champion. Pantufel could be in trouble. I think if he takes Cleanse, though, he should be just fine. He should be safe. Azir can clear relatively safely from range. He can scale up. He can do the things that he's got to do to stay alive in that lane. And I actually like Galactics' drafts a lot more than Lagama's.
So do I. I think with the nameplates off, this is very heavily favored toward the red side, in my mind, from the draft. Just like you were just saying, I think this is a very
I do
strong
wish
comp.
the Kai'Sa was an Ashe, though.
I don't even think the Kai'Sa is that bad with the Braum, especially against the Ezreal and the Nautilus. I think her lane will be okay.
I think Ashe would be better, though.
I think Ashe is a stronger pick. I don't hate the Kai'Sa, I guess. I think the Ashe would probably be better, but I don't think it's that big of a downgrade to go for the Kai'Sa. Just a little bit different style as well, but overall, there's not a lot of weaknesses in this team. It's not like there's some pick that's like, ooh, that's a little suspect. You got pushed out onto your 6th jungler or something. I think they're all very strong picks. I think they have chances in every lane to get ahead. And so I think the onus is on Lagama to prove that they are this top team. Even with this a little bit more unorthodox draft, they can still pull out the W.
I mean, we'll see, right? We talked about it. Lagama are already guaranteed playoffs. It's possible that the reason they drafted the way they did is because they're guaranteed playoffs. They know that they're guaranteed playoffs, so these games don't really matter. They matter in terms of like getting to first place for Lagama and who they're going to be playing against once they get to those playoffs and once they start playing against those, once the regular season is done. But in terms of like we need to get to that point. We need to get to playoffs. The games don't matter. Lagama is locked into playoffs, and so why would you give away some of your stronger strategies that you have? Why not practice some of those things that you're less experienced on, that you're a bit weaker on, and see what you can do with them, see how they work out for you? That might be what Lagama is doing, and if that is, this might be a chance for Galactics to claw their way back into this season, back into a potential playoff spot, and find sort of a foothold in this league.
Right, absolutely, and they only need to win one more game to secure themselves first place. Does Laganma? They have this game, and then they only have one more game. One of the games in the next week. The last week will be a bye for them, so they have this game and then one more series. They need to win one of those in order to secure first place. So Laganma, honestly, just not playing for a lot. I'm not saying that means they're just going to be trolling, right? But I think it makes sense that they would try a little bit more unorthodox of a draft, just kind of try to, I don't want to say limit test a little bit, but pull out maybe a comp that you wouldn't do if this was a full try-hard game, because you do want to learn, right? You do want to be against that good competition and still coming up with a nice comp. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. We're going to find out. We are now on to the Rift, buff spawning in just about 10 seconds.
I want to talk again about the Zoe pick, because I do like the Zoe pick. Zoe is a strong champion. I think Christian is probably going to look good on the champion, but Braum, normally not a big fan of Braum, except as a counter to certain things. Zoe is one of those things, right? The Paddle Star, the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. These are basically Lagama's best and really only ways of having a strong impact in fights early on based on their draft. And, if Christian's not there, if that damage is blocked, then I don't think Lagama are going to have the damage, period, to kill some of these beefy boys on GX, to kill Kenobi, or to kill Jakul, or even Naya or Dirty Up or Pantufel. Like, where is the damage going to come from? Ezreal early, Ryze early, even Kindred early, not the most damage. So I love the Braum pick as a counter to the Zoe, and I think it gives GX so much freedom to do with this early game what they want to if they can find that lane pressure. And Ezreal's already not likely to have a ton of lane pressure. Zoe probably is. So mid lane, I keep saying it, I think mid lane is Lagama's best option to sort of play around and break open this map if they want to get ahead early, which they usually do. So I expect them to spend some time mid lane playing around Christian's priority, maybe see these guys roaming together around the map looking for kills. But right now the focus is on top lane, both junglers heading up to see what they can do in the top lane.
Already working out well for GX. So Kenobi going to face check into Vent, and this could be the 2 versus 1 straight away onto the Kindred. Flash away. Very well done escaping that play, but Summoner blown.
It was a good flash. It was a necessary flash. Venton was going to die if he didn't flash, but that is now a flashless Kindred who is not that mobile of a champion to begin with. And we already talked about how scary the engage, how scary the skirmishing is from GX. So basically that flash being down from Ventum means that he has to play only around lanes that have priority, which is probably only going to be Christian. He can't afford to try something top lane again, because if that goes bad, if that goes south, if Kenobi is there, if he gets found out, he's done. He's dead. He's got no way out. He's got no escape tool. That flash is gone. So, Lagama's options just became even more limited.
Yeah, absolutely. And if Might goes down, even once, I would say, in this lane, it's just going to be, orders of magnitude harder for him to continue laning against this Camille. If she gets any bit of a lead, I think she will take a mile with that. Recall already coming through for Might. I think he'll go back just for the tier. Has survived very well in the early stages, got the push through. Going to be picked up by Jakul, who will be evening out and probably taking a lead in the creep score department. Nice little freeze being set up by him as well. I think the next couple of levels are very telling for this lane. If Might can break this freeze and stay alive, could be well set up. But if he gets engaged on trying to break the freeze, maybe level 6 comes through into the Hextech Ultimatum, I think he could have quite a lot of trouble, as he is saving his teleport as well. Going to fall pretty far behind with this freeze.
Ooh, I didn't think that Might was going to have enough gold for that tier. He must have...
he started with the Mana Crystal.
Okay, he started with the Mana Crystal. I think he also might have the rune that lets him sort of dip into those funds. The lending rune? I forget what it's called. Gives him that extra money, though. Yeah, Futures Market, that's the one. Kenobi on a ward, looking for a gank, but this, he
He's still just zoning, though.
True. Oh, there it is. Oh, wow. You probably should have used it right away. Ooh. Pantufel.
In the mid lane, Christian going for the full dive. The flash, he actually flashed in place with Pantufel slash. Not sure it would have mattered. Every summoner used, kills traded in the mid.
I mean, I think that's worth it for Lagama. Get the kill onto Zoe, and also burn Pantufel's cleanse, which means that the next trouble bubble that lands will probably spell doom. Oh, Might in the top lane, though. Kenobi never went anywhere. They're looking for a dive.
Kenobi just walked around. What do you do here? If you have to flash something, what do you flash? Gets pulled in with the Facebreaker. Gonna get stunned up as well. Going down. Kenobi flashes himself out just for a bit of safety. A very clean dive. Might goes down.
A clean dive. Mike goes down, misses an entire wave. A kill onto Jakul as well, who is exactly who you want that kill gold on. And teleport forced out from Mite means that TP advantage in favor of the Camille also, but a collapse coming through from Ventum. They might be in trouble.
They're going to go for this hookshot over the wall. Not quite going to make it. Jakul, does he have the flash available? Is he going to use it? Does decide to save it. Mite picks up the trade kill. Ventum working out in the top lane.
Yeah, it was a nice gank from Ventum, but still definitely a net win for GX, because that entire time that fight was happening, Mite lost 2, maybe even 3 waves to the top lane turret. You can look at the CS difference. He's down 15 to 20 CS once he shoves that wave into Jakul and he teleports in to grab it. That's almost the kill's worth of gold right there. So I think still definitely a net gain for GX, but Arise getting a kill is not a bad thing.
It is
mid lane.
In the mid lane, Pantoufle just eviscerated off the map. That was a party time. Everybody's there ganging up on the mid laner.
Fico showing up in the top side of the map. I probably should have noticed that one, but I didn't. That was a good run from Fico, recognizing that a Kai'Sa and a Braum are not really able to punish Yopa early on. He's doing just fine. Now looking back top lane though, Jakul, he's got it. He's just
gone. He's got the Sheen ultimate through. What do you do there if you are the Rise? Just nothing. He might need to re-look at his options on that one, because I don't know what he does going forward.
Seeker's Arm Guard, I think. I think Seeker's Arm Guard is not a bad option. Maybe Rush Zanya's first item. It sucks. You don't want to delay the scaling on Rise that much if you can help it, but I don't think you can help it, because look at the 1v1. It's not even close. It's not even close to being close. Jakul is so far ahead of him, and that matchup is favorable for the Camille anyway to begin with. And you throw in the jungle matchup as well, where you have a Set that is, even with the Kindred, but Set probably just being a stronger champion early and offering a lot of follow-up for the setup of a Camille, and you have a 2v2 that Mite is probably just going to get dove over and over and over again. And right now, Ventum is answering not by going top lane, but by going bot lane instead, looking to get into Kenobi's jungle and take some camps away. But meanwhile, Mite is just stuck under his turret, praying and hoping that he doesn't get dove.
I think you just sacrifice this dragon and go for the dive. Once again, if you're Kenobi, there's no way Mite can outplay this. There's no Hextech ultimatum, but they don't even need it. It's 2 versus 1. He's going to be going in here under the tower. Mite, does he have the flash? He does still have it available, but he gets stunned up. Nowhere to go, flashing himself away. Jakul, the W, picks up the kill. Another very clean dive. Kenobi dropping tower aggro at the perfect moment. No teleport. Mite is in so much trouble.
And Ventum does take away that dragon and take away Kenobi's bot side jungle camps, or at least that Gromp and that blue buff. So, he gets something back. Right, but I don't think it's going to be enough, because right now, GX are creating a situation where Lagama basically is in a 4v5. Mite is going to be useless as a champion. He's got 25 CS, no teleport, he's still level 5 as the top laner. He's under-leveling Yopa, he's under-leveling almost everybody, and on top of that, guess what? Dragon did get picked up by Lagama, but Herald is going to be looked at by Kenobi, by Jakul. It goes over right now. There's no way Lagama can fight at all around the top half of the map. Mite is just too weak. Unless Jakul picks a 2v1 that he can't win, which might happen. Thought better of it this time, though. Ended up backing out of that one. So, Herald traded for Dragon, and Lagama's top lane just in the dirt is the bottom line for what happened just now. Kenobi smiting away his red buff, getting chased in the jungle. Fico's back. Fico's back.
I think he's going to be 5. Ooh, the flash dredge line. Maybe. Holy hell, damage coming through. Ventum, that's a lot of damage from that third proc of the E. Kenobi taken off the map.
Naya's trying to force. Oh, the trouble bubble.
Lines goes down. Pantoufle trying to outplay this dive. He's doing quite well. Oh, that's a little bit aggressive. Ventum is here. Dredgeline, we're going to stick in the top and back to the mid. We're going everywhere. Ventum's killed Pantoufle, but Jakul on a killing spree. Once again, this is a tale of 2 sides of the map, Baymax. It's top lane versus everybody else.
Really, right now, sort of top lane versus jungle. Ventum's getting all these kills, he's getting strong, and he's looking for a shutdown on Jakul right now. If he gets it, that could totally turn the tide of the game.
This could be huge in the top lane. Jakul going to have to run himself away. Fico could be in some trouble, though. He's pretty low on the Nautilus. This could go very badly for him. One more auto attack. The second block of the Q, that's a stopwatch. Will he survive long enough? Yes, he will. That's the shutdown going over in favor of Ventum, getting very strong on this Kindred.
Yeah, I mean, we're still looking at a 4-2 Camille that has Triforce completed, so that is scary, but we're also looking at a 3-0 Kindred, and we talked about Lagama not having many damage options available early. Well, a 3-0 Kindred is a pretty strong damage option now. We saw how much DPS Ventum has. We saw him basically just one-shot Pantoufle before he had time to do anything, before he had time to flash away, or no, not Pedro, Kenobi. It was Kenobi. I think Kenobi had the Haymaker still available. Didn't even have time to use it. Just got stunned up and killed before that stun even ended. So, jungler versus top laner is basically what's happening right now. Although Christian still pretty strong in the mid lane, got about a 20 CS lead on Pantoufle. And if you take a look at the gold on the map, it's about a 1,500 gold lead for Lagama. So they're doing fine for themselves.
Yeah, it is top lane party time. Stun goes down, shut down immediately. Ventum, no chance to survive that. Might just piecing out with the Realm Warp. That's another kill back. A nice shutdown.
A nice shutdown, so Jakul trying to even the score out a little bit there, and Herald drop top lane means first turret probably about to go down in favor of GX, but turret plates across the map are bleeding for GX as well. Lagama taking control of this mid lane with solo kill going over in favor of Christian, picking up Pantoufle there. Bot lane as well. Dirty Up getting a little bit bullied in this 1v2. Oh my god, the paddle star damage. Kenobi.
Kenobi in all sorts of trouble, but he has the showstopper available, not even able to channel it. Christian walks away. It's becoming the mid jungle versus the top right now. 3-1-2 popping off on the Zoe.
Yeah, and worth mentioning also is Christian got a lot of solo turret play gold. He's been bullying this lane hard, just in the 1v1 when left to himself, and so the kill difference is really not that definitive here.
Engage in the bot lane. Fico taking a lot of damage, so is Niaz. Both supports going quite low, but I think they are going to continue. That's the killer instinct into the backline. Dirty Up wants to go for the kill. The flash and the automatic isn't going to be enough. Yes, it will, but the kill's traded back. Yopa picking that one up. That's going to be 2 in favor of Laganma at the end of the day. The double kill going over to the Ezreal.
Oh, and a sleep mid lane again. Another paddle star. Is it going to connect? Not quite. And Tuples should be okay.
Minions. I'm not sure he's going to be okay. Flash away, still going to get slowed up. Ventum can chase this. He has Lamb's Respite available. Decides against it. Pantoufle getting bullied very hard, similar to Might in the top.
And right now, it's actually only Jakul who's looking good, who's looking strong on the side of GX. Yopa and Fico coming out on top of that bot lane. Christian just putting in a ton of work mid lane. And Ventum ridiculously strong on this Kindred. Jakul is sort of the one bright spot on this team. And you know what? If you had to pick one champion to be a bright spot, I would probably want it to be the Camille. Jakul probably has the most carry potential, but still, he's finding himself more and more sort of 1v5ing. Now, Kenobi face check in the bush, he's got a flash over the wall. Teleport coming through from Might as well. Lagama looking to secure control over this Dragon Pit.
There's the teleport from Yopa. In fact, Jakul now. Ooh, flash forced over the wall. That's the real flash from Christian, trying to get himself away from this Camille. I think he was afraid of the hook shot, but this is likely going to be the Dragon going over the second of the game in favor of Laganma. I think we're going to see the fight, though. Might has yet to teleport in. Sleeping Trouble Bubble does go down. Emperor's Divide as well, but Zoe has been shut down. Christian taken out of the fight immediately. Teleport channel, but it might be a little bit too late for this Rise joining the fight. Lamb's Respite goes down. Everybody's staying alive for a little bit longer. Ventum and also Trouble Flash from the wall is going to be failed. Not able to get that one through. That's the Hextech Ultimatum from Jakul going straight into the backline. Yopa finally taken down as well. The trade is coming through. Jakul goes down 2 for 3 so far. 2 for 1, I should say, as Kenobi has just walked himself back into the mid lane. Might very low. That's the dredge line. They're trying to continue this fight. The kill's picked up. Actually, Killer Instinct in the back line, though. Fico goes down. Might to follow as well. In the end, they lose the Dragon, but a huge fight for GX. They win it 5 for 2.
You take those all day long. You get an ace on the map. You lost the Dragon, but it was only the second Dragon of the game, so not a terribly influential Dragon. Pick up 5 kills for 2, so finally the gold gap swinging in favor of Galactics, and they are feeling the strength of a 2-item Camille. Jakul just putting so much damage out in that fight, and he didn't even honestly play it all that well. I think he could have lived. I think he could have killed Yopa sooner. He canceled an auto attack. Yopa lived longer than he had to, just out more damage than he had to. And Jakul sort of looked like he was running around unsure of what to do after he used that Hextech Ultimatum and followed Yopa's Arcane Shift over the wall. But he was doing so much damage. He found 2 kills before that. He had a strong initiation. And Lagama, if they misstep, if they disrespect the engage that can come through from Jakul, someone is going to get one shot. And guess what? I think that's been Lagama's biggest weakness so far this season, has been a propensity to get a little bit disrespectful in these games, especially as the minutes sort of drag on, as the game gets later and later. It feels like Lagama rely more and more on just outplaying and more on their gold than sort of controlling the map and their macro play as the minutes go on, as you get to that 3rd, 4th Dragon when the Baron spawns, when the Elder Dragon spawns, and so GX having a gold lead, maintaining control over this game is definitely a good sign if they're trying to win this game, trying to get their way to playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked almost like they were trying to give the kill over to Pantoufle. Jakul canceled quite a few autos. It looked deliberate, to my mind at least. A lot of kills did go over to the Azir, kind of getting himself back into the game, trying to make it a 2-threat comp. I think that's a valid strategy. Jakul did take a lot of damage, though, while waiting, so something just looked a little bit weird in that, like we were just saying. We can move on from that as well. But GX really staying with this game, a little bit of a gold lead. This game is much closer than I think a casual observer would have thought going into it.
Closer than I would have thought.
Yeah, undefeated so far in game play. Mid lane tower goes down in favor of them, reclaiming the gold lead, but just by a couple hundred, basically flat. Only lead for them right now, an extra turret and a couple extra dragons.
I'm curious to see how Lagama start to play the next few minutes of this game. Because Lagama do, without a doubt, have a very strong scaling team. Okay. Naya investing the ultimate, trying to find a pick on Christian, but not quite landing. Lagama have a very strong scaling team. I'd say I'd be very surprised if GX find a way to win a 40-minute game versus Lagama here. But Lagama haven't had a lot of practice playing scaling teams. They mostly play for the early game. They mostly play to control that first 15 to 20 minutes. So to see what they do and how they play is very interesting.
Taken off the map. Drowsy goes down. Kenobi going to be falling as well. The showstopper, but it's just going to be his own show that is ending on this one. Into the death chamber. 2 kills picked up for Lagana.
GX walking a little bit too far forward, dropping that Herald, trying to take out the mid lane turret, but it is Lagama that fire back, find 2 kills for nothing. A nice dredge line from Fico, and suddenly it's Galactics that are on the back foot that have lost their gold lead, and just like that, Lagama, they are back in the driver's seat, at least for the moment.
Jakul over the wall, though, maybe trying to go in, is marked by Kindred. Ventum not wanting to go toe-to-toe with this Camille right now. Do not blame him for that. That's a 2-item Camille, and looks like we'll have a little bit of a reset. I expect Lagama to go for some purchases and then try to get some vision and control over this dragon.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I was saying, I think Lagama are still in a really strong spot because they have the scaling team. They have the first 2 dragons. Like, those are all good things. My concern, though, is if Lagama have enough discipline to sort of play out a scaling team, to play slow, to play controlled, and play respectful of Galactics, because that's what they're going to have to do. And honestly, I think that's been their biggest weakness so far, is later in the game, playing respectful, playing slow. We'll see what happens. Next dragon spawning. This dragon is going to be huge, right? This is the 3rd dragon of the game for Lagama if they pick it up, making them threaten that dragon soul if they can get their hands on it. And it is going to be an ocean soul, I believe. An infernal soul. Either way, terrifying dragon soul to give up. Right? A lot of pressure on both of these teams to fight over these dragons. And Lagama, can they stand up to the pressure? Because they are being bullied right now. But same thing with Galactics, right? Can they stand up to the pressure? They're going even here.
Fight has commenced. Fico in all sorts of trouble. Has popped the stone plate to buy a little bit of time. Lamdra's fight goes down. Christian trying to do what he can on the side, but Fico has gone down. Pantoufle flying himself into the backline with that Shurima shuffle. Bunch of flashes at the same time. Kenobi trying to go in to do his best, but he's taking so much damage so quickly. Ventum, can he go down? Oh, the sleep goes down onto Dirty Up. Might have gone too far forward, a little bit too aggressive. Christian trying to dodge his way around this fight, but he finally gets shut down. Dirty Up and Jakul soon to fall as well. The fight finally goes in favor of Loganma. They're chasing onto Niles. They're chasing onto Jakul. The Ezreal Jopa, you got to be a little bit careful. You don't want to just get one shot. That's the heal comes down. The stun, can he go for the outplay potential? Jakul, does he have the damage? No, he does not. Jopa on a killing spree. Very well done. 4 for 1 in the fight. They're going to be on soul point.
Oh, and just like that, I think, Galactics' hopes and dreams are fading away in this game. They had the lead, they had the control, but they are losing it slowly but surely, fight after fight. Even with what started like what looked like a good fight almost from the start, right? That was a 5v4 basically. Fico got caught out right at the start, although it did force Pantoufle into a bad situation where he had to flash to get out. He was deep behind enemy lines, and so, is that worth it? I mean, maybe picking up that kill and trading flash is worth it, but at that point, you got to disengage. You got to sort of kite backwards because your mid lane carry no longer has his mobility spell. He no longer has his flash. He can't get close. He can't play safe. Dirty Up took a bunch of damage from Paddle Stars. Christian just poking and poking and poking that entire fight. A nice sleepy trouble bubble as well. I have such a hard time saying that. And now GX, they're on the back foot, they're behind, they're down about 3,000 gold. 3rd dragon went over to Lagama as well, putting them just that much closer to a dragon's soul, which, basically in my mind probably would put the nail in the coffin of this game. In Galactics, they're losing it, right? Might is even in the side lane starting to do well. Starting to scale up. He's got that Route of Ages, he's close to having his Ceres finished. He's almost got that Archangel Staff picked up. And the time that Jakul can bully this Rise in the side lane is running out. Ooh, Naya.
Dredge line coming across. Naya is taken away. Depth charge onto Pantoufle as well. I think he'll escape. He's able to shuffle himself over the wall before that went down onto him, but another kill picked up. The pressure just mounting here and trying to be the engaged in the bot lane. Might under some pressure, but he's trading back almost as good as he's getting. Kenobi is here. GX cannot afford to lose another fight, I would say, at this point. I think they're on the brink of where they cannot come back, and they might just lose this Baron as well. The multiple members on the bot side might in all sorts of trouble. Doesn't have a stasis. He's going to go down, but at what cost is Baron almost surely going to go in favor of Lagana?
Yeah, Baron is melting pretty quick, and there's not even anybody from Galactics trying to answer this. It's going to go down for free, but it's not really for free, because Might died bot lane. That bot lane turret probably going to get picked up. Dirty have picked up that mid lane outer as well, and is looking for this inner. Recall timers coming through from Lagama. They're not actually running across the map to those turrets. They are teleporting, though. Teleport behind from Yopa. This could be a collapse.
Jakul and Kenobi going to have their work cut out. Yopa got to stay alive for a little bit longer, though. I think they maybe could turn on him. They might also just sacrifice this set. Jakul trying to go in for the fight. I don't really agree with this. I think you just got to get yourself away. Stepping way too far forward. Doesn't have flash. He's going to be going down. Another teleport committed as well. That's going to be Might joining the fray. Maybe a little bit of overcommitment there by both sides, but the GX top laner taken down.
So I feel like this is an important game for Lagama, because in my mind they are proving that not only can they play a sort of a faster paced control the early game sort of composition style, but they are finding a lot of success now with a scaling team composition. They are playing a little bit slower, a little bit more respectful in that mid to late game. They're not fighting at board they can chew, but they're picking strong fights they know they can win, and they're doing a good job of it. Now Naya forced to use that ultimate to disengage, but he's just dead. He's melting. Yopa does so much damage, dominating on this Ezreal.
Just taken off the map immediately. Nothing he can do. Exhaust still up, but it wouldn't have made any difference, I don't feel. Kenobi, that free exhaust onto him. Why not? Might as well use that inhibitor turret. Now under some fire. Kenobi maybe trying to go in for the fight. That's a great shuffle as well. Trying to stand and go toe-to-toe. Pantoufle has picked up the kill onto Might. Multiple members falling. Lamb's Respite has gone down. Vendor trying to keep himself alive. The AD carry is asleep though. Dirty up. Gotta be woken up. He goes down immediately. It's just Jakul trying to do what he can in this fight, but it's not going to be enough. Christian survives as well. That's the ace coming through. 5 for 2 in the extended fight. The push coming through in the mid. Christian gonna have to use that Sonya to stay alive. Beautifully done there. A nice bit of play. Yopa full HP onto this inhibitor. It's gonna be going down.
By the way, I thought I was a little bit curious to see how this Ezreal would go. Mostly lately anyway, we've seen Yopa on picks like Ashe, like Caitlyn, not a lot of the Ezreal, but he's doing so phenomenally well. Isn't he 8-1 on this pick? Farming very well. He had pressure in that bot lane. Him and Fico. I think Fico is doing ridiculously well as well. And honestly, I think all of Lagama are doing well. Might had a bit of a rough time just because he was a rise into a Camille, but he's scaling well. He kept up in farm relatively well given the circumstance. I think he's doing fine mechanically. I think he's playing these fights well. He's getting a lot of damage out as much as he can anyway. So I have almost nothing but good things to say about how Lagama have been playing. GX though, they looked good. They were doing well, but at this point in time, things are just sort of falling apart. Now, Lagama with total control over their jungle.
Beautifully done. Yopa, a godlike Pantoufle taking off. That's going to be the soul as well. I was going to say that's the hill you need to die on if you're GX. What do you do right now? Your mid laner's gone. Everyone's kind of just switching places right now. Kenobi going for a nature walk as well. But I don't know what's going on with this positioning. Trying to push down through the mid lane, but Ventum's going to pick up the soul completely uncontested unless Kenobi is going to go for the steal over the wall. This could be genius. Turns out it is not genius. The soul goes over for Ventum. A nice smite by him. He's up 3 levels, I should say. So that helps out quite a lot. The push in the mid lane I don't think is going to go anywhere. Might is here to defend. Beautifully played by Lagana. They lose the turret. They do pick up the soul.
Yeah, that's worth it all day long. You lose that. You lose that turret. You take the Infernal Soul. You take those. Not only are you going to get the Infernal Soul, right? Yopa shreds these turrets. He's going to take the spot lane inner inhibitor turret. And guess what? Mid lane, Might's going to get engaged. So that's 1 kill traded back. But the rest of Lagama is in the base of GX.
Yeah, who cares if you're losing 1 kill in the mid lane somewhere? We're taking the base right now. Pantoufle and Jakul just coming back to give more and take more. But it's mostly on the take side. This could be the end of the game. Actually, Baymax the Drowsy goes down. Lagana looking like they want to stand and go for the fight. It's a nice 3-man stun. Showstopper comes through, but Yopa is still untouched in the backline. Dredge line goes a little bit wide. Pantoufle taking so much damage. That's a shift forward. Beautifully done by Yopa once again. He is just ripping through the team right now. Lagana, they had a bit of a questionable draft in our minds, but in the end, it's going to be enough to win the day. rough early game for the top lane, but the rest of the map making up for it in spades. 11, 1, and 11. It's all ones for Yopa. He's saying we are number 1 in the league. They look to improve to 10 and 2. Beautifully played. GX just coming up a little bit short as the Nexus goes down.
Oh, and it's so sad for GX. I feel like they've been improving as a team, and I feel like this is, despite how this game ended, 33 kills to 18, where it looks like Lagama had a convincing win. The early game was close, and I feel like Galactics was playing kind of out of their minds for a while there for a team that, you know, I didn't expect at all to be able to stand up to Lagama. I don't think anyone did. It was one of the closer early games we've seen versus Lagama, and Galactics, I think, you know, I don't know, are they eliminated from playoffs now? I think they might be. I'm not exactly sure how that works. If they're not eliminated, they're close, and it's getting kind of scary because we only have 2 more days of games left, and Galactics, like they had to play against Lagama. They lost, so they're in a rough spot. It's kind of scary.
Yeah, they are hanging on by a thread to their mathematical possibilities to get to playoffs. If Fantastic Esports is able to win this next game, they will officially be eliminated from the playoffs. So they need to pray that other results go in their favor. Not a great place right now for GX. They played their hearts out, but in the end, it just didn't quite work out. Laganma able to win the day, improve for their 10th win in a row. And with that, we're going to step aside for a bit of a break. We'll be back in 5 minutes with the interview with Yopa, the MVP of that game. We'll be right back.
Take me in small, breathe me in and let me go. Filling the lungs inside you, and the blackened eyes make my way into your mind. Just to know what you knew. Restless every time we start locking eyes up. Lost control. It's paradise with honesty, but I'm in the dead of the night. Let the darkness take control. Let the darkness take control. Darkness take control. May the darkness take control. Take me in small, breathe me in and let me go. Sink to your heart to find you. Open up your eyes till you're blinded by the lies, so you can see what you do. Restless every time we start locking eyes up. Lost control. It's paradise with honesty, but I'm in the dead of the night. Teardrops on the floor. The pain is over. Feel the darkness take control. Darkness take control.
The bow breaks and I will fall. The ground shakes, the wind will shiver off. The world returns the same place without change. I will do the same and get out of your strain. Whoa. I can't forgive myself, can't escape into a universe of senses. The world returns the same place without change. I would do the same and get out of your strength. I can't forgive myself, can't bottle up my memories. If only time will tell the truth and stop explaining the calm before the swell. I feel it in the melody. I will forget this hell and find my sweet serenity. I can't forgive myself.
Welcome back, everybody. Following a decisive win for Laganma, we are now joined by Yopa, the star of that game, on the Ezreal. A lot of ones coming through at the end of the game. At least 11 kills, only one death, popping off. Congratulations on the win, sir. How are you feeling?
Thanks, feeling pretty good.
Alright, I'll take it from here. Thanks for the introduction, Carl. I'll get a couple questions in. So, Yopa, it's nice to be here with you. Again, I'll reiterate what Carl said, and congratulations on the win. My first question I want to ask you is regarding the draft, because one that was an interesting draft from Laganma. I wanted to ask specifically about that first pick that came through. You guys first picked the Ezreal. I thought that was really surprising. Ashe was open, Camille was open, Olaf was open. There were a lot of picks that I would consider to generally be higher priority, especially considering Laganma's playstyle. So why the Ezreal?
It was mainly my call. We were just like talking, no one was focusing, and we were like, oh, we need to pick. I'm like, yeah, just give me Ezreal, I played in solo queue. It was basically that.
Okay, alright then. Fair enough. So keeping in the vein with the Ezreal pick, you looked really well on it, obviously, or you wouldn't be here. I want to ask you about that lane specifically. So it was Ezreal Nautilus versus Kai'Sa Braum. What do you think of that lane?
It's like we showed Ezreal and they picked Kai'Sa Braum, and with that, if they don't have like a engage jungler, it's like they can't kill us ever. So it was just like farming, and we were ahead in mid game, so we could have snowballed. They like really misplayed the draft end lane.
I would agree with that. I wasn't a big fan of... I kind of like the Braum as an answer to the Zoe in the mid game, and like team fighting, it blocks the paddle stars, blocks the trouble bubbles. I can say that, I promise. But I feel like the Kai'Sa... could have been an Ashe, although that might not have solved... It would help with the engage problem a little bit, although it wouldn't be that great of a solution, because Ezreal's got his arcane shift for that. I'm not sure maybe what they should have done. I got one more question for you, and that'll be... it's more of a statement, actually. I want you told me before we went live on air here that Christian was mad at you for taking the teleport. What do you want to say to him now in front of everybody?
Yeah, I'm a better player than him. I got the MVP. He was like 5'3", inting, carried him.
Well, there you have it. There you have it. Yopa's better than you, Christian. Gonna take that? Okay. I'll go back to you, Carl. Thank you, Yopa.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Baymax. Don't necessarily want to argue with the chat right now, but one final question for you, Yopa. You guys are undefeated so far in the games that you've actually played. You've won 10 in a row. You're guaranteed the first seed in the playoffs at this point. Just generally, how confident are you that you can make the run in the playoffs and win the league?
Yeah, we're gonna win the league. We're not going to drop a single game.
You heard it here first, folks. That's all that I think we need to have said. The challenge has been on the table. Can anybody stop Laganma's march to the championship? We're going to find out in the coming weeks and the playoffs. But Yopa, thanks so much for the interview, and good luck in the rest of your games.
Thanks. See ya.
Absolutely. Thanks to him once again for stopping in. We are now going to step aside as we get ready for the second game of the day. But when we come up, it is the Balkan battle between Kraljevic Serbia and Fantastic Esports. We're looking to qualify for the playoffs with a win. You're not going to want to miss this one. We'll be right back.
I feel it in my head, my shoulders, knees and toes, my bones, your music gets me through the highs and lows. My head, shoulders, knees and toes, my bones, you're keeping me from feeling all alone. I've been praying to 1,000 different stars, to 1,000 different arms, till
Welcome back, everybody. Day number 12 of the Howling eSports League, season number 1. We are all set for our second game of the day. It's the Balkan Battle. It's Kraljevina Serbia taking on Fantastic eSports. We are 2 minutes away from that champion select. Fantastic eSports will qualify for the playoffs with a win in this game. Hey, Max, what are you thinking?
I think, well, my notes say that this game should be closer than the first game would be. The first game was pretty close, but I would say still a relatively convincing win for Legama. So I think this game will probably be a close game. I think Kraljevina and Fantastic eSports are both probably on the stronger side of the teams that are sort of in that middle of the pack soup, as you like to call it. And taking a look at these rosters, I think both these teams have sort of strong win conditions, strong ways to play the game. Kraljevina specifically, I think Kraljevina, so the last game they played versus Lethal Rage, and they had Ash, Karma, Shen, Corky, and Lee Sin. So they played basically a very, very scaling heavy team with a Lee Sin in the jungle to take them to that late game, and they did really well. But that was the game that Lethal Rage drafted the Yone mid, and basically I think he went 17-1. Popped off ridiculously hard. He was like the sole carry for that team, and so I feel like that game, it felt like Kraljevina should have won, but they didn't really understand how to play on the Yone pick, and so they ended up losing. That being said, I think Kraljevina, if they don't run into that problem today, they've had some more time to adjust to that pick. They could ban it as well if they don't like it. They looked like a team that was going to beat Lethal Rage. I think they can beat Fantastic eSports. Also, I think they have a strong case for being one of those sort of top of the middle of the pack teams. Mm-hmm. But Fantastic eSports, they don't need to make the case. They are one of those top of the middle of the pack teams right now. They do have that extra win on top of Kraljevina. They are that one win closer to getting playoffs. And like you mentioned, if they win this game, they are in playoffs. So let's see what happens.
It's champ select time. That's all we got. Let's see the picks. Welcome back to not actually quite the champion select yet. We do have a couple client problems once again. That's just the story of the day. So we're just going to keep rambling on for a little while before we actually get into those picks proper. Gives us a little bit more time to break down this matchup. Jarl Carl alongside Baymax. Should be a good game. This is the Balkan Battle. These teams know each other very well. Kingdom Serbia, a little bit of a new roster still. This is, I think, the second, third, or fourth game that we've seen them with this new roster. They've looked reasonably well coordinated with it. Last week, they looked good except for the Yone problem. So I think that kind of makes them a little hard to judge just because that game was so different because of that one hyper-scaled, hyper-carried champion that just kind of popped on.
He was literally 17-1. Like, it felt like Kraljevina just didn't know how to play on the pick. But aside from that, like you said, they were looking pretty good. I want to talk about Fantastic eSports, though. Fantastic eSports, they also had a strong performance last week. They took down Galactics in a pretty big way, and Galactics are the team that we just watched to have a fairly strong showing against Legama. So I don't think Galactics are that weak of a team in their own right. And in that game, it felt like the bot jungle duo from Fantastic eSports, which is so strong. Lycro was looking disgusting on the Caitlyn. I think if that makes it through draft, Fantastic eSports have got to pick that up again right away. Don't let it through. Take that, slurp it up if you can get it. Which unfortunately looks like they're red side this time, so I don't think they have that first pick, so they might have to ban it out, but we'll see what they decide to do. The Olaf, as well, as a pick that they can gravitate towards. That was something that Antonio was on in the jungle for Fantastic eSports in that last game they played versus Galactics, and he looked very strong on the Olaf. His pathing was strong. He had a solid gold lead over his enemy jungler, and he had a strong KDA. He was making fights happen. He had good objective control. He looked pretty good on the pick. The rest of the map looked maybe a little bit shakier. I talk about Majster Radovan. however you pronounce that, Mr. Radovan in the mid lane. I talk about him a lot when I talk about Fantastic Esports, because I feel like he is a player that has high highs and low lows. So a little bit of a coin flip in the mid lane. I feel like he can do really well, and he can do very poorly. We'll have to wait and see on that one.
Good news, folks. Client issues have been resolved. We are now into the draft itself. The Karthus Bandway, I know that's a pick that you find to be very, very strong right now, Baymax. We've talked about that a couple times before on stream, so it makes a lot of sense to ban that away. Yeah, it got a little bit nervous. It's still just one of those picks that, do you really want to play against the Karthus, right? That ultimate can be really, really hard to play against. Yet nobody likes to play against Yumi either. They're just champs that make the game feel a lot more unfun, right? You win the fight, oh, there's the Requiem coming down. Oh, I'm jumping on this guy, just kidding, he's full health. That's the power of that Yumi. On the other side, just some standard picks taken away. The Graves makes a lot of sense. The Azir as well, we saw it in the last game. Didn't have a ton of success, but overall a very strong pick. Monkey banned out at the same time.
Caitlyn open though. Caitlyn is open, Olaf is open, Camille is open, and that is going to be an instant Caitlyn lock-in for Kolyevin. But that means that the Orianna is open mid lane. If Fantastic Esports want it, the Ashe is open if they want it, and they are going to lock that in. Camille, also another aggressive option, but they opt for the Thresh for Zizzy instead. A nice little peel option to keep Legro safe on that Ashe pick. I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either. I think it makes a lot of sense to pick up the Ashe. Obviously, the secondary AD carry to Caitlyn right now. Those two really going toe-to-toe in a lot of games. I like the picks a lot from Chaos right now. Morgana, of course, works very well with the Caitlyn. Works
Olaf
very
is so
well.
Good here. Pick Olaf. Effie, pick Olaf.
That's what Max wants to see. I also want to mention the Olaf just really the Zac really briefly, as my mouth is just falling apart. I like the Zac a lot because it's not against Caitlyn. Caitlyn has a terrible time with Zac. He's one of the worst junglers for her to play into. I like a lot the fact that it's on their team. Also the Morgana. I think this Caitlyn's going to be sitting very safe in these fights. Already through this draft, I like it a lot. I think Zonks is set up very well to pop off in this Caitlyn.
Okay. I agree. I like Kolyevin has dropped a lot, but I think it kind of falls apart if you get an Olaf in the jungle for Antonio, although right now it looks like that's not something Fantastic Esports are prioritizing. They haven't picked it up yet. They got the Shen instead to help peel for Legro and keep him alive, and Kolyevin have the chance to ban it away, and there it is. So that's not going to be an option in the jungle for Antonio, and I'm really sad about that because I feel like Olaf works so well. One with Shen, 2 with Thresh, 3 with Ashe. There's a lot of synergy, a lot of setup there for the Olaf to keep him alive. And also, he's so good against Zac, against Morgana, against Caitlyn, these immobile champions that rely heavily on crowd control to peel. Olaf just presses Ragnarok and he says, I don't care, I'm running at you, and there's nothing they can do about it. So I'm so sad to not see that Olaf pick go over. But I'll move past it. I'll get past it because there's other picks coming through. Darius, Galio, Zed maybe, and Hecarim. What do you think about these, Carl?
I would like to see the Zed. I think the Hecarim is going to have... It is the Zed. Oh, wait, I thought it got locked in. I'm just trolling everybody. I apologize for that. But we'll talk about the Hecarim because that is locked in. I don't love this pick here. I think it's a good effort at diving the backline in a similar way to Olaf. Right?
Yeah, it feels like a discount Olaf.
It does, because I think the thing that stops the Hecarim that doesn't stop the Olaf is the Black Shield. And if Caitlyn isn't getting feared by the Hecarim, unless he's wildly far ahead, he will not one-shot her. They also have Air 4 that can go for the taunt. There's a lot of peel for this Caitlyn, and Hecarim is not that tanky, especially if he's going full damage. I think he's going to get ripped apart by this Caitlyn, probably going to get CC'd in some way, trapped down onto him. I would expect to be one-shot. He'll probably be going in with the Shen, but I would like to see Zonks take Cleanse, Black Shield on him as well. I think he'll have enough peel to keep himself alive, and I don't think this Caitlyn's going to actually be under that much threat.
Ooh, and let's take a look at the mid lane as well. Syndra locked in for Radovan, which we talked about Radovan being the kind of guy that he has high highs and low lows. Well, Syndra is a champion that if you have a high with Syndra, you are going to just 1v9 everybody and win the game. And she's a champion that can do that. She can get pressure and she can be very, very strong. But he is laning against a Galio. And Galio is hard to kill, even if he's not building magic resist. He's got that innate magic damage shield, and when you combine Galio's innate tankiness with Syndra's mana nerfs and her cooldown nerfs, that make it harder for her to keep up that pressure for long periods of time, because her Dark Spheres cost so much more mana. She can't poke as much. She has a hard time controlling the wave. I think Galio is an excellent pick into the Syndra. It's very hard for Radovan. It's going to be very hard for Radovan to bully Air 4 and to push him around, and it's also going to give Kolyevina so much follow-up engage for that Zac that they previously didn't really have. The Thunderdome with an elastic slingshot and a Galio is so hard to run away from. It sets up very well for a Dark Binding, or the Soul Shackles, or for resting in top for an Apprehend, for Darius to run up there and get up in their business, for the traps from Zonks. I like Kolyevina's team comp a lot. My only concern is I think early game lane priority will probably still go the way of Fantastic Esports. Ashe can match a Caitlyn pretty well in the bot lane. Syndra should still have priority mid lane, and top lane I think is pretty even as well. I think that can go either way. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
I think this is a reasonably balanced early game. I think you might have a little pressure for Fantastic Esports, but I think its lanes, all of these lanes can go both ways. I think it's not like the Ryze Camille like we saw last game where it's this lane has to be in favor of Camille. That's just how the picks work. I think there's potential in all the lanes. I don't think Schnotty's going to be going for a solo kill on the Darius by any means, but I don't think one team is going to be just smashing this early game. I think a lot of it will come down to the jungle pressure, how efficiently they use their time, where the ganks are, whether they're successful, and we'll see how that transitions into the objectives as well, right? Dragons are very important in Season 10. They've mattered quite a lot. The Souls are so strong, and I think, both these teams are going to be fighting for objectives in the early game. Neither of these really want to be just waiting for the late game. I think both of these teams are going to try to fight for objectives early game.
Yeah, especially once we hit level 6, once we have that arrow available for Lycro in the bot lane, you have a solid engage potential, a solid threat coming through from Fantastic Esports. I think that's when they can really look to start picking some of those fights. And you mentioned the jungle matchup. That's hugely important. I'm so happy you did mention that because you're 100% right. I think the early game is pretty even, except for the jungle matchup. It comes down to Antonio and M6 sort of trying to feel each other out. Where is the other one going to go? Trying to keep tabs on each other, trying to keep that vision control. And I think, if you look at mid lane, I think Zac is not that great into Syndra because she can just use that Scatter of the Weak to knock him out of that elastic slingshot, and boom, Radovan is just fine. But Radovan could get a little bit too aggressive. That's sort of a hard maneuver to pull off if he either doesn't have that Scatter of the Weak off cooldown after the cooldown nerfs, or if he just misses it and screws it up because that timing has got to be pretty good, then that is suddenly a very dangerous lane because Air 4 has a lot of setup and M6 has a lot of setup. Galio has a lot of damage early also. He can pretty much look to one-shot somebody, especially if he takes Ignite. So mid lane could be super volatile. I think it's going to come down to tracking junglers. I think it's going to come down to, do Fantastic Esports know where M6 is and can they answer that properly? And honestly, I think a lot of it's going to come down to whether or not Radovan feeds mid lane, because I think he could, and I think he might not, and I think that is potentially going to decide the game.
Right, well, he definitely didn't feed the last time these two teams met. Radovan popping off on the Syndra. We are being told, the voice in my ear, 18-3-5 was the stat line on Syndra the last time these two teams went toe-to-toe. So, looking to repeat that performance in the Syndra, obviously very confident. That game was off stream. But, a champion that has been very strong in the meta. I hope his timings will be down for his sake because, like you said, I do agree. I think he could end up just kind of inting in the mid lane. It's really hard to not get taunted or knocked up by M6 if they go for the full engage, right? How do you can't stand outside of the engage range from Galio the entire lane because you're just going to be standing under your turret the whole time. So I think the jungle tracking is going to be very crucial, and that really starts from level 1, getting those wards down, understanding where this jungle pathing is, and then Antonio also being proactive, making sure that they're tracking the jungler throughout the early game.
Well, we'll see if he can do it. That is also reliant on lane pressure, right? I think Antonio should have fairly even lanes, and given even lanes, then Hecarim should probably win the 1v1 against Zac. Antonio should be strong enough to move in and get aggressive, look for vision control if he wants it, so I think that could tip it into Fantastic Esports' favor. But, like I said, I think mid lane is volatile. I think top lane is pretty volatile also. If Schnotty missteps just a little bit, if he just makes a tiny error in his movement, in his positioning, then resting in top could definitely punish that. Darius is a champion that has so much ability to make you really regret making those even tiny mistakes. We'll see what happens. We are finally loading onto the Rift for game number 2 of our Howling eSports day 12. I think 12, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're doing it. Okay, day 12, day 2. Here we go. It should be fun. Look at those little champion animations just running around right there.
Gotta love that. Yeah, Cinematic League is always very pretty. I think I like that a lot. Looking at the summoner spell selections, I feel like the wrong AD carry has cleanse right now. Pretty sure Zonx is the one that should be having cleanse and not Lycro. Sure, you can cleanse the bind, maybe a taunt from Air 4. I think there's just so much that you are going to want to cleanse away if you're Zonx. He's putting a lot of faith in his support right now, but there's the taunt from Shinani, there's the fear from Antonio, there's the stun from Radamine, there's the ultimate from Lycro, there's the hook from Zizzy. Every one of these champions has hard CC that you need to cleanse. And I'm hesitant to say that the heal is going to be more useful than that cleanse would have been. We'll see if it works out for him. Exhaust as well, a pretty defensive bot lane, but that Black Shield needs to be on point.
Yeah, that's a lot of trust in Warazar. If they got that synergy down, if that trust is there, then who am I to tell Zonx that he shouldn't trust in his support? Because there's not a ton of magic damage to break through that shield that Warazar has. It's really only Radovan. So in the bot lane, the shield theoretically should be enough. For most team fighting, I think the shield should be enough, but again, like you said, it comes down to execution, and that execution has got to be spot on, or Zonx is going to be feeling the pain. We'll see. It comes down to the mechanics of how that fighting, how that permission ends up going. Time will tell.
Certainly will. We talked about early game jungle tracking, and there's not a lot of tracking going on right now on this Zac. No wards in the KS jungle. A couple of wards up on the top side, but other than that, not a lot going on. Also, a bit of an invade happening by Air 4 a little bit early on, just trying to poke around at the horse, but nothing to be found from that. Losing a little bit of mid-pressure for it, but nothing too serious. Just kind of poking around, getting the feel for him in the early game.
He was trying to get vision with all right. He went for that Raptor ward, but Antonio saw it, spotted it out, took sweeper, and so managed to clear that ward. So for now, Kolyevin are still in the dark, and I think it's Fantastic Esports that have a bit of a lead in terms of tracking and in controlling the map. But we'll see. It could go anyway. One ward down, though, so ward advantage in favor of Fantastic Esports for now.
Huge ward advantage, Baymax. That's very important. But basically no wards on the map right now. So they don't know where M6 is. This Zac could be anywhere. Shadow Dash in the top lane. A lot of damage being taken by resting in top. A huge trade there. Both members going very low. This lane could get very volatile very quickly. Those corrupting pots will heal him up.
Yeah, corrupting pots, but, versus Doran's shield. So the longer Snotty can stay in that lane and stay alive, the more that Doran's shield will start to outvalue those corrupting potions. I'm not sure exactly how long it takes to get to that point, but for now, the resting in top is going to have the HP advantage, like you said, from those corrupting pots, taking him back up to full HP. I want to point out also, this is a Ghost Darius, no teleport to resting in top, which, Ghost Darius has become more and more popular lately with the changes to Ghost to make it activate, or to give you that full movement speed instantly. It's strong on Darius, but I don't like it here, because that means that resting in top has no way to answer a stand united from Snotty. He has just got to bully that lane so hard that Snotty doesn't really get the chance to do it. And that is going to be hard to do because Shen is a pretty strong laner and he's not that easy to bully, especially if you're an auto attack dependent champion like Darius. Now looking mid lane, Antonio trying to get a gank onto Air 4.
Air 4 could be in trouble. He's running towards his own jungler. M6 is here. That's the knock-up onto Antonio. Stretching, striking to throw multiple members together. Do they want to go for the re-engage? Aftershock finally off from M6. Not quite as tanky. Air 4 now in some trouble, having a flash over the wall. A nice little counter gank, but a summoner still blown.
Summoner blown in favor of Fantastic Esports. So they got the ward lead, now they got the spell lead. Soon they're looking to maybe get a kill lead or a gold lead, but for now, gold lead is in favor of Kolyevin. The kill lead is in favor of nobody. No kills going over so far. Zonx and Warazar, though, they've been sort of unmolested in this bot lane. They're doing a fantastic job of punishing Fantastic Esports' bot lane, pushing in Lycro and Zizzy. I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I think that Fantastic Esports, their last game they played, it was all about the bot lane. Lycro looked so good, Zizzy looked so good, Antonio was looking strong also. I think Fantastic Esports' bot lane was looking very, very strong. They also had a Shen for Snotty that time around, so draft Snotty as something like a Shen that can support the bot lane, and put Lycro on something like an Ashe that can hard carry, and you funnel enough resources into him, he'll be strong. I expect Fantastic Esports are going to start to shift to playing on the bot side of the map, especially once Lycro has got his ultimate available. Once they have a little bit more pressure in its lane. There goes the death sentence, they're looking for it.
Hook lands, Warzar flashed himself away. Where's the Dark Binding? Lycro going in as well. Zonx is just behind his opponents, not too sure what the positioning here. He just doesn't quite have the damage. He might actually try to go for this 1v2. The Flay's gonna miss. Zonx is quite strong. Flash still available, no heal if he wants to go super aggressive. Doesn't quite have the mana to do so. First blood picked up in the bot lane for Lycro.
How clean was that from Zizzy, by the way? The death sentence while the Dark Shield was down. right onto Warazar, and then the flash with a lantern to get Lycro there as well. A dark passage into a dark screen for Warazar. First blood for Fantastic Esports. We talked about all the firsts that FE were getting. There's first ward and first spell, and now they get first blood. And looking for second mid lane, Air 4 doesn't respect the level 6 from Radovan, takes a bunch of damage. Antonio hanging out in the wings, taking away a Raptor camp from M6. Bot lane control of the map is in favor of FE right now, but Antonio might get collapsed on.
Yeah, Scout of the Week goes a little bit wide. Zizzy and Lycro could be in trouble as well. Asking Slingshot going to come over. That's the bottom. Landing on to Lycro. Can he get to the lantern in time? Can he get to the chopper? Saving Mr. President. The flash away, but the taunt goes down. Black Shield not going to quite be enough to save M6. He goes into the passive. That was Stand United. Remember, resting in top cannot join this fight. Here comes the horse. Zonks, no mana. He has flash. Think he'll just turn his attention onto Warazar's got nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. The recall coming through from Shnadi. He doesn't even think he's needed for this. That's the hero's entrance, though. Lantern goes down to get themselves away. Fantastic Esports get themselves out.
Second kill for Fantastic Esports, and Shnadi's not even going to lose that much for that stay. He gets to teleport back to lane. Resting in top picks up a turret plate, but doesn't get much else. And imagine if Resting in top had teleport, right? He can match that Stand United. He can show up in that bot lane and change everything. Maybe get a couple kills for Kolyevin, or at least stop Fantastic Esports from turning the fight. And instead, they lose 2 kills to 0 now. But Antonio getting a little bit too aggressive in a 2v1.
Likely about to lose Antonio as well. Smite for some health, but he's got no teammates anywhere near him. Throwing in the Qs. I think it's just a matter of time until he goes down. Actually, they pulled back from that. Not entirely sure why. Maybe just didn't have the cooldowns. Antonio, new lease on life. Zizzy here, though. Hook goes down. Interrupt that. This is not a fight that you want. Just going to walk themselves away. Somewhat odd series of events, but everybody survives.
I think the reason that KS didn't end up chasing Antonio there is because they didn't have vision, didn't know where anybody was. They didn't walk into a Radovan Scatter of the Week, right? Also, that Elastic Slingshot has such a long cooldown early that M6 probably still didn't have it for another 7 or 8 seconds. So Antonio does just get to walk away there. No mana on Air 4, no way for him to follow up. Now resting in top, might be looking for a solo kill here top lane. He's got the ghost, he's using it.
Think he's going to find it. Resting in top does so much damage. Noxie and Guillotine isn't even needed. Just flexing on him in the top lane. Resting in top picks up the solo kill.
It does burn both summoner spells for it, but puts Shnadi in the dirt, and suddenly, just like that, I'm not even sure where it came from exactly, but a 30 CS lead for Resting in top. He has been bullying that lane. He has been doing quite well, and the Ghost does net him that kill. And meanwhile, not only are Kolyevina finding victories in the top lane, but they're also starting up this first dragon, and they're going to get it for themselves too. Bot lane pressure in favor of Zonks. That is what the Caitlyn Morgana buy you when you prioritize them in draft. First dragon of the game going over to Kolyevina.
Absolutely. It's been a very nice lane so far for the Caitlyn Morgana. Up just a couple of CS. They have the BF sword over the Vampiric Scepter and some daggers, so doing quite well for themselves. The cleanse almost back up for Lycro, so I don't think we'll see a whole lot of fighting that leads to any fatalities down there anytime soon, but some nice pressure gain. Like you said, Binding's Landing can be quite dangerous, and it's also not a lane that you want to gank. Caitlyn Morgana can really easily turn a gank on its head, try to go for the 3 versus 2 kill, so I think they'll kind of be left to themselves, at least until that next dragon, just keep farming up, but like you said, a nice bit of pressure for KS as we are in a bit of a pause.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, I feel like Zonks and Warazar aren't even doing especially well in this lane. Like, Lycro and Zizzy, they got the kills. They found a kill onto Warazar. They had a nice engage, and I think they've been doing well for themselves given the situation. But that's just sort of the nature of, like, Caitlyn Morgana, is if you want lane control, you can get it. Like, you throw a Piltover Peacemaker at the wave, you drop the Torment to soil, and, like, the wave is just gone. And there's probably nothing the enemy laners can do about it. There's not... I don't think there's an AD carry that can match the wave clear of a Caitlyn, at least not for how mana efficient it is, right? Drop one ability and boom, the entire wave has just lost 60% or 80% of his HP. Like, that's hard to deal with. And just because Caitlyn and Morgana were drafted, Kolyevina, they have that bot lane pressure. And if Antonio's not there, if the follow-up is not there for Lycro and Zizzy to get aggressive and to look for fights, if they don't have the vision control, they don't have the pressure, and they can't do that, then the dragon just goes over for free. And that's exactly what happened. Kolyevina picking that one up easy peasy.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no way to ever rest this lane control back for Lycra and Zizzy unless they just go for the straight fight, right? That's the only way you can try to get back in this lane. Otherwise, you are just going to get pushed in over and over again. There's nothing else that you can do, really. How do you deal with that Q? I would say Sivir's probably the only other AD carry that has like as free of a wave clear, although it does take 2 abilities. But those Qs are relatively similar as we are now hopping back into the game after that short pause.
It's good to be back. Good to be back indeed. Let's talk about ultimates, because Kolyevina, they have some pretty important ultimates. Namely, I want to talk about the Hero's entrance for Air 4. I thought his first Hero's entrance was pretty good in that bot lane, but the Lantern from Zizzy sort of shut it down in a big way. It's almost back off cooldown, and it'll be up in time if these teams want to start fighting over this Rift Shield that spawned on the map. And so far, neither team has shown a lot of preference, a lot of priority over picking up this Rift Shield. It was all about that dragon. And just now, we are seeing M6 start the path towards that top side. Antonio is still on the bot side with low mana, trying to get that blue buff and trying to get back on the map himself. But with top lane pressure in favor of KS, right? Resting in top is so much stronger. Air 4 is about to have his ultimate available as well, and he's been doing okay in this mid lane. Like, he hasn't died. He is down about 20 CS, but honestly, that's fine. If you're a Galio, you're mostly for the utility of being a Galio anyway. As long as you aren't feeding the Syndra, I think you're doing okay. So I think KS are in a fine enough position if they want to fight over this top lane. But bot lane,
Hook in with bot lane. Warzar just had to use that exhaust with the trade coming down. That's the shot coming through from the Pilt over Peacemaker and the traps. But Zox now in so much trouble by himself. Sandy United came through as well. It was interrupted, which maybe actually was preferable for Schnotty. He's going to get run down under his tower. The Noxian Guillotine could be coming through the trade back from Schnotty, keeping himself alive. He might bleed down. We're going to have to watch the damage. One more tick would be enough, but he's likely going to fall to M6. Can he get the healing through? It's not going to be enough. M6 picks up the kill, but a win in the bot side for FE.
A win in the bot side. So just as I was mentioning that I thought KS should play on their top side, maybe look for Herald, maybe abuse resting in top, being strong on Darius, just as KS should do that, FE should play on their bot side, right? I kept mentioning it early on, but Lycra and Zizzy are honestly so freaking good. Look at these engages, look at these hooks. This is on a Morgana who has Dark Shield, and these death sentences keep landing. Zizzy has been smurfing on this Thresh, and it's paying off big time. Fantastic eSports managed to bully Zonx again and bring another death into this bot lane. But Kolyevina, they are able to fire back because they have that top lane pressure. They pick up that Herald, and honestly, I think that might be worth it for Kolyevina, because more turret plates going down top lane for resting in top. It's down to 2 plates left. That's going to be a first turret if Herald gets dropped. And on the boss side of the map, sure, you killed Zonx, you killed Warazar, but guess what? Unless you keep investing resources, unless Antonio and Schnotty keep heading down there, it's still going to be a Caitlyn Rourke who are probably going to have pressure. And look at what's happening top lane now.
Goodbye.
He's getting murdered. He's just getting murdered by this Darius because of the lead that KS have gotten on this top lane. And so this turret is going to fall. Maybe even without the Herald, we're going to see first turret go down. Fantastic eSports, like we said, they got the kills bot lane, but it doesn't really change the dynamic of that lane very much, although it does mean that he can roam mid lane.
Air 4 in some trouble here. Nice flash away from everything. I think he might even live from this one, Baymax. Dodging everything. Beautifully played by Air 4. This could be the counter engage coming through. Radovan having to flash himself out. Summoners blown by both mid laners. A nice play by Kingdom Serbia.
I'm sorry, Kyle. I've been talking too much. I should give you more of a chance to talk. I keep going on and on and on, but I love both these teams. I love how they're playing. Oh, Radovan caught up with a slingshot.
Okay, it's my turn again, Baymax. We're going in onto this one. The taunt likely going to go down. Radovan cannot get to the chopper in the form of that Lantern. Resting in top, meanwhile getting ganked, but the Ghost able to zoom himself out to safety. Well played. Everything coming up in favor of KS, with the bot lane going the other way. Zonx just one shot. Lycro. Every summoner's been used, but he picks up the kill.
Picks up the kill. Does burn the flash and the cleanse, and Radovan burned flash mid lane as well. By the way, Herald dropped by M6. It looks like we might see KS look for this mid lane turret, or at least to pick up a few more turret plates on it. By the way, resting in top, did end up picking up that first turret in the top lane, and now teleport mid lane from Radovan to sort of retake control and stop the push. But honestly, I don't think that teleport was very necessary. I do want to point out, though, we're looking at 4 kills now on Lycro. 4-0 on this Ashe. He picks up another turret plate bot lane as well. So he's starting to get a nice little chunk of gold in his pocket. And guess what? he is, like I said, in my opinion, Lycro is probably the strongest member of Fantastic Esports. I think his positioning and his kiting and his just mechanics and his playstyle in general, I think he does a very good job as an AD carry. He's a consistent player who doesn't typically get caught out very much, plays around his limits well. That might be put to the test here. Although, as I say that, Dragon is spawning in about 15 seconds and Lycro just recall, which means he's not quite on the map yet. KS can look to start this up if they want to, and China Crystal Arrow not available either after that last skirmish, and second Dragon of the game should probably be free for KS here.
You would imagine so. A lot of pressure here going down very low already, and that will fall in favor of KS. Looks like we are going to see a Cloud Soul this game, potentially 10 minutes away from that one, if Kraljevina Serbia decide they want to continue stacking those Dragons as fast as they can, if they can keep their lead right now, but it's really everybody against Lycro at the moment. Fantastic Esports trying to let this Ashe carry them, but the rest of the map is kind of falling apart for this side right now. It's basically just the Ashe that's even keeping them in the game.
Well, I mean, we'll see. It's about 1,000 gold separated these teams, so they're close. 2 Dragons for Kraljevina is definitely a good sign, but an Ashe can definitely hard carry. Although, look at those Caitlyn trap damage. Antonio dropping so low. Ace in the hole not going to connect. Zizzy is there to block that one away. But I think you're right. Kraljevina are in a good spot, and for now, Lycro is basically the only one who is sort of plugging that hole and keeping FB in the game. He's about to get dove.
He's about to get dove. He's about to get killed. No way he's getting out of this one. M6 has picked up that shutdown. Zizzy now in all sorts of trouble standing on his back. I don't think it's going to be enough. It's not even going to be able to complete. Into the passive goes M6, but this is the follow-through from Resting in Top. The BM, he walks away. He says, you're going to bleed out to death. M6 gets away from the turret as well. Resting in Top is saying, you're going to be resting in peace, picking up some kills.
And top lane, the fight's not even over yet.
We are moving up into the top lane, folks. Air 4 goes for the stopwatch. Not going to make any difference. He's going to be going down straight away. One traded back kill, but Chaos still coming out huge in that fight.
Another turret falling bot lane as well means we're now looking at a 3-0 deficit for Fantastic Esports. Keep in mind, by the way, this is the game that guarantees Fantastic Esports playoffs if they can win. But so far, it's not looking so good. They're down about 4,000 gold. They do have their one sort of scaling option in this Ashe in Lycro, who is strong. So that is a good sign. But everything else, not so good, right? Especially Resting in Top, putting in so much work on this Darius. But he is getting collapsed on as we speak. Zizzy with the Mobies trying to run him down. But Resting in Top going to pop the Ghost and get out of that one scot-free. So he is safe and sound on this pick. Not going to give up any shutdown gold today. And that would have been a lot of shutdown gold, by the way. About 900 or so going in the way of whoever does finally kill this Dunk Master. But for now, he is just fine, and pressure on the map still strongly in favor of Kraljevina. You can look at the vision control. Item spikes as well starting to come through for players on both teams, but we're looking at 2 items for 2 items for Resting in Top, 2 items for M6, to 1 item each, or not even 1 item for Schnotty and 1 item on Antonio. So the top jungle difference is very real this game. I do want to point out, I don't know how I feel about the Black Cleaver second item for Darius. Normally you build either Triforce or Black Cleaver because that Phage passive doesn't stack, it's unique. So you're wasting some of that value. Normally if you go the Triforce first item, you're going to go into like a Death's Dance or a Starak or something else second item that is not a Black Cleaver. Looking at an engaged mid now, Lantern to get Lycro to safety, but he is going to be just fine. I don't know. Do you got any insight into that build or any of these builds?
I think so. I don't hate the Triforce Black Cleaver. The straight, like on its face logic, says it's weird because you're doubling up on the passive, but you do get the better parts of both passives. We're gonna have to hold that thought, but I do want to return to it. Likely fight coming down. M6 and also trouble. Just gonna get taken down straight away. You have to feel surviving for a bit longer than I did think, but not gonna make any difference in the end. Radovan just one-shotting Warzar Arrow as well, landing onto Air 4 as this has been a big overstat by KS. They lose 3 kills.
Lose 3 kills, but do pick up that bot lane turret. You're right, though. It was definitely an overstep. You have no reason to try to pick a fight or force any sort of an engage when you have a strong side laner in the side lane uncontested, right? What do you think Fantastic Esports are doing? If you have this Darius in the side lane, taking a turret for free, and nobody's answering him, where do you think the team is? They are waiting to try to find a fight somewhere else. You cannot look to sort of assume you have numbers advantage when you don't have the vision control, when you know you don't have all 5 members, when that Darius has no way to get there. And now Herald goes over to Fantastic Esports. They pick up that kill. They pick up a pretty significant jungle objective. They do lose that bot lane inner turret, which is something. But at the end of the day, definitely a net win for the team that was 4,000 gold behind a minute or two ago, and now only about 2,000 gold behind. So definitely a good thing for Effie.
Certainly is. I want to go back to that discussion about the items just because I think it's very interesting. This is a build that, again, on its face looks a little bit weird, but you do get the better parts of both passives, and both items are, relatively good stats wise. And it's something that we saw run a little bit on Garen actually a while ago. You'd go Trinity Force first, and then a couple other items, and then like a Black Cleaver Light, and it actually worked out quite well for Garen. And Darius, relatively similar build path to Garen, so I don't actually hate it. I think it's pretty strong. And resting in top, it's certainly working out pretty well for him. He is absolutely terrifying right now in this bot lane. 2 items, 4 and 0, level 13 as well. He is going to be ripping through anybody that he gets to go toe-to-toe with, and right now that unfortunate person is Schnotty up there. Warzar, though, going to be on the wrong end of the Scatter of the Week. Exhaust goes down, buying a lot of time, and Gage could come through. That's going to pull him out of the redemption. That's going to be the first kill already picked up, but here comes resting in top. What kind of damage can he get done? Radovan has the shield on his back. Will he go down before it completes? Excuse me. Radovan very, very low. Doesn't have the ultimate available. One more auto attack going to shoot him down. He is taken out by the Sheriff of Piltover. Fight is going to continue going in favor of KS thus far. 2 for 1. Mid laner and support taken out as well. Lycro going to get jumped on. Has to flash away. That is the onslaught of shadows from Hecarim over the wall. Antonio, but he's just getting shredded by Zox. 90 caliber net to get himself out to safety. Lycro very low. The flash to buy some more time as well. He can't carry the fight all the way. It's a triple kill for the Darius. Resting in top coming up huge. That's going to be Soul Point as the Dragon is started up.
Oh my god, that fight was so close. I thought Fantastic Esports were going to win it like 3 separate times. I was like, no, they're losing, no, they're winning, no, they're losing, no, they're winning. But they lost it. Lycro, just, honestly, that was, for the most part, really clean kiting from Lycro. Wasn't quite good enough. Low health bars on Krolyevna do manage to win them that fight. What was it, 5 for 2 at the end of the day? That's a strong fight win. That's a lot of bonus gold in the pockets of Krolyevna, plus 3rd dragon of the game going over in favor of this team, and that puts Krolyevna at 1 dragon from Dragon Soul, so they're at that coveted dragon point, right? Which means that basically the next dragon is not necessarily do or die for Fantastic Esports. I think generally teams sometimes put a little bit too much emphasis on those dragon souls, especially if it's a cloud soul, but it's still a big deal. It's not like Cloud Soul matters a lot. Even any soul matters a lot. And Fantastic Esports, they just lost a big team fight. It was close, but that gold deficit is back to 4K, trending in a negative direction once again. Lycro managed to burn Flash and Cleanse and still die in that last fight. And by the way, Radovan burned Flash as well, which means these 2 key carries for Fantastic Esports are not going to have these safety cooldowns for the next fight, which is so scary versus a team that has a Galio and a Zac and a Fed Darius and a Morgana, right? That's so much pick. You talked about all the pick options Fantastic Esports have. Well, KS are just as scary, and they have a heavier front line to tank up these engages. They have more vision control on the map. They're just stronger in general right now. Baron is up. I think KS should look to start it basically with impunity. We'll see what ends up happening, but right now, total vision control in the area is in favor of KS. They've got resting in top in the side lane where he needs to be. Although, honestly, that's the one hard part about this Baron. I would say if resting in top and teleport, guaranteed you do Baron right now if you're KS. He doesn't, which means that Schnotty, once he's got that stand united, once he's got the teleport, which he almost has, then Schnotty can answer a team fight when resting in top can't. But if Schnotty's dead, or has no HP, or is being bullied so hard that he can't win the fight, it doesn't matter. A flash from resting in top, he's looking for the kill.
He's so fast. Another Q comes down. I wanted to mention that he's going to have flash before the rest of the members of the fight does commence, so it's still going in favor of Chaos in the 4 versus 4. Fear on his lungs, but he is safe. Lycro stepped in a trap. That's a huge amount of damage taken down immediately. Beautifully played by Zonks. Ace in the hole as well. The triple kill onto Antonio. Scatter of the Week can only do so much. It's a disaster for Fantastic Esports. They lose 4 kills across the map. Radovan's running for the hills. He could be going down as well. That's the ace, the clean ace. At the same time, a huge goal lead has exploded. The base is being broken. Baymax, this game is all but over.
It might end here. It might end here. 10-second death timers on Schnotty and Zizzy, so they can maybe save the game. I think realistically we're looking at KS picking up both of these inhibitors and maybe turning on to a Baron, trying to end the game through their next Baron push. The inhibitors should basically guarantee that FE have no real way to answer this Baron, although Schnotty is alive with teleport. Lycro and Zizzy back alive again as well, so KS, they're not going to risk it just yet. They're going to recall, they're going to spend their money, they're going to get their health bars back to full, and then they're going to turn their eyes towards that Baron. But Fantastic Esports' base has been defiled broken into and destroyed. 2 inhibitors down, and that 4,000 gold lead is ballooned into more like a 7,000 gold lead. KS just keeping up the pressure.
Think about that pressure, too, that Resting in top is going to have in the side lane now with both inhibitors down, right? You can either go in the top lane and try to push for a third, or you can just usher in these waves of minions. What is Shnati going to do, right? We saw him get taken down. The flash, the ghost, the difference isn't really that big for Darius. He can just run you down with that as easily as he can flash on top of you. Shnati has to be so scared. He can't really go toe-to-toe with the Darius. I think Carly Vita Serbia have all of the options on the table right now, but basically anything they do, I think, will be winning.
Well, we'll see. Baron started up now by KS, and Fantastic Esports, they're looking like they might want to try something. Antonio hanging around, maybe looking for a steal. Zizzy and Radovan over the wall as well, but they are spotted out on Vision, or at least Antonio is. And the Baron is melting very quick.
There's the engage over the wall. Can he steal it? No, he can't. Going in favor of Crawley Vita Serbia. Antonio able to get out on the Dark Passion, so nobody goes down, but that's the Baron buff picked up. The Soul Dragon coming up in less than a minute as well as KS look to just go in the top lane and try to push down the base.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're KS, I don't know if you even wait for the cloud. I think you just
Antonio caught out on a bit of a greedy recall. Well played to check the bush with the stretching strike. This is going to be the dive out of the tower as well. Enchanted Crystal Arrow not going to do a whole lot in terms of damage. That's the root out of the tower as well. Hero's entrance comes through. M6 has been taken down, but at what cost? The Zac goes down. The Hecarim goes down. Both junglers gone. Top down as well. Shnati no longer here. 4 versus 3. Almost a 5 versus 3 if you count the minions as that extra member. The 5th man here for Crawley Vita Serbia pushing into the base. What can Fantastic Esports do? It's not looking like a whole lot. The 3rd inhibitor turret is now under pressure. The Baron minions withstanding the wave clear that has been attempted. 1 Nexus tower has already gone down from the creeps. The inhibitor turret going to fall at the same time. Only 1 tower left on the map for Fantastic Esports. Looks like Chaos is going to back themselves away. Probably just try to go for this soul. What a win.
What a win, but honestly, the kill on M6, I think, ended up being pretty important. KS maybe getting a little bit too greedy, diving a little bit too deep, right? They get the pick onto Zizzy. I think that probably should have been the end of the game. Honestly, you push as 5, and then if Fantastic Esports try to stop your push, you just slingshot on top of them and win the team fight. But with M6 dead, your engage options are far more limited, and KS are forced to take what they can get, which is that top lane inhibitor turret. Then they got to back off, go towards this dragon, reset, and try it all again. But this time with a Cloud Soul under their belt, so they'll have a little bit of an easier time. By the way, Cloud Soul, hugely impactful thing to have for Kolyevina. It's super nice with it's ridiculously strong with Noxie and Guillotine, right? You get that speed buff after casting the Darius ultimate. It's ridiculously strong with the Let's Bounce. Makes M6 move that much faster, more knockups, more everything. It's very strong with the Soul Shackles as well for Warzar. Just a super nice soul to have if you are KS, and now they're looking to end the game. They're running into the base of FE. They got these Baron buffed minions for a few more minutes. What can FE do?
Into the base. We're going to find out that answer, but I think, spoiler alert, it's not going to be a whole lot. The 5 versus 5 in the base. Nexus Tower already down to half HP. That's a nice route they found onto Shnati. He's going to be the focused target. That's a huge headshot. 500 damage. Zonk's dominating now. Last inhibitor goes down. That is all 3 off the map. Double waves of minions if they're not able to end here, but I do feel they're going to be able to. M6 flashed himself away. That was Unleashed Power used onto him. Zonks can feel so safe in this fight. Actually a little bit too late, but it doesn't matter. He's perfectly safe. What can kill him? Nexus Tower goes down. They can just focus down the Nexus if they do decide to, and KS are trying to get their way into the playoffs, keeping their dreams alive. The Nexus is going to go down. Fantastic Esports are taking off the Rift.
Fantastic Esports! They were so close to getting their playoff spot locked in, but they couldn't quite find the win, and now they are in contention for that spot like everybody else. Is anyone eliminated now? Did that eliminate anybody? Did that eliminate Galactics?
We will check on that later. Yeah,
okay. Right.
I don't think so. I don't think anybody is mathematically eliminated at this point.
We'll get that one figured out.
Yeah.
We'll get that figured out. I think we're going to have the interview coming up soon as well.
Yes,
wow,
that's true.
That was a crazy game.
Yeah, what a wild game. Very well played by Chaos at the end of the day. Really playing through top lane, resting in top, doing so much damage to the Darius. He will be our interviewee. We're going to step aside as we get ready for that interview. We'll be back in just 5 minutes with the chat with the MVP. We'll be right back.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body belongs to me. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Content, hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I wanna taste consumption. Breathe faster to waste oxygen. Hear the children sing aloud. It's music till the wick burns out. Be carefree lately, yeah. Just kicking up daisies. Got one too many quarters in my pockets. Counting like the 4-leaf clovers in my locket. Untied laces, yeah. Just tripping on daydreams. Got dirty little lullabies playing on repeat. Might as well just ride around the nursery and count sheep.
Figured it all out. You think that you want it. It's all a facade, yeah. You want adrenaline. Fuck the consistence. Fuck the emotions. I figured it all out. You think that you want it. It's all a facade, yeah. You want adrenaline. Fuck the consistence. Fuck the emotions, you fully loaded. You're fully loaded. You're fully loaded. You could never see him out of sight. Pull up on you staring at the light. Don't tell me don't push me. 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 You could never see him out of sight. Pull up on you staring at the light. Don't tell me don't push me. 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 I figured it all out. You think that you want it. It's all of
Welcome back, everybody. Following the victory for Kraljevina Serbia over Fantastic eSports, they improved to 6-6 and keep their playoff chances alive. We are now joined by resting in top star on the Darius from that game. Welcome to the show, sir. Thanks for doing the interview. Congratulations on the win. How's it going?
Yeah, I mean, hello first of all, and yeah, thanks for everything. And I don't know. I guess after a W, you always feel well.
I hope so. And by the way, I wanna just put this out there. If it was up to me, we would be having a straw poll in the chat right now to ask you guys if you wanted to make the entire interview resting in top just singing, because he volunteered to sing for us in the interview, and I wanted that, but I got shot down. So know that I'm not the one keeping this from you. Okay, you could hear his beautiful singing voice, but thank you so much for being here, resting in top. Congratulations on the win. The Darius was good. I want to ask you what you think about the summoner spells, because I saw Ghost on Darius. Initially, I was thinking Teleport would have been better, because I do like Ghost on Darius, but Teleport is so good versus a champion like Shen, who's got so much global pressure. It can help you match that in a big way. What do you think? Why'd you end up on the Ghost?
I mean, the first thing is I outscale, of course, Shen, and I mean overall, even in team fight, I have so much pressure if I'm not behind. And Ghost gives me a lot of pressure in lane. Sure, like the TP, advantage, he has that, even with his ult, like 2 TP advantages, let's say. But the thing is, basically, we were trying to play around top, which kind of worked out, I guess. But overall, the Shen TP, like, he ulted bot, right? He saved his teammate, he got the kill. But at the same time, he lost like 2-3 waves top, then I got a plate in top, and he had to TP top, back to top. And I don't know, overall, sure, maybe we did not get a lot of stuff in bot lane, but me in top lane, I got a little bit ahead in XP and CS and plates, and yeah, and after it's just like he doesn't have TP, and if I kill him, he's losing even more, So I don't think it's really a really big deal. I see where it could be actually abused, but I don't think that the enemies actually played around that. Like, they definitely could have actually abused me early game, but they ignored me so hard. I don't know.
Okay, I got one more question for you before I throw it back to Carl, and that is, why'd you settle on the Darius pick? Because I'm pretty sure Camille was open. I think there were several other strong top laners that were open and available. So why'd you settle on Darius?
Not gonna lie, I woke up today in the morning and I was like, I'm playing today Darius. No one's changing my mind. I told that to my coach, Coach Wolf, and he did really well with the draft. Shout out to him. And yeah, I mean overall, he did a really nice draft, and we could have played actually Darius with Flash Ghost, and yeah, everything worked out well. So.
Okay, just wanted to play Darius. Woke up on that side of the bed.
It's more like comfort,
I respect it. All right, Carl, I'm throwing it back to you. Thank you so much, resting on top. And one or two more questions, and then you'll be on your way.
You're almost free, but thank you very much, Baymax, for that. I just want to talk about the league overall. You guys have now improved to 6-6. You've looked very strong with this new roster. You're still, at least in my understanding, mostly in control of your own destiny. In terms of playoffs, we'll have some more math run on that eventually. But how are you guys feeling going into this last couple of games? We've got 2 games left. What's the team atmosphere like?
1 game at a time. We're not thinking, like 2-3 games are left. Just go in today, play the game well, and because we had some bumps in the road, but happens. That sometimes happens, and you should not really lose your head because of that, because it's eSports, and you gotta take it till the end. So I mean, Tuesday gonna be another game, and then Sunday 1 more. So just 1 game at a time.
Okay, that's what we like to hear. Thank you so much for doing the interview, and good luck in your games.
Yeah, thank you. Have a nice evening. Bye bye.
Hope everybody out there also has a nice evening. But with that being said, we are now taking a look at the updated standings. Laganma finally clear in the first place at 10-2, 9-3 Lethal Rage, 7-5 Monospa, looking very good for these playoffs. Then we have a couple of teams at 6-6, a couple of teams at 5-7. Baymax, what are you noticing?
Laganma's 10-2, which, by the way, I mean, this is something we've been talking about Laganma. We've been freaking out about Laganma for weeks now, but this team is ridiculous. They haven't dropped a game. The 2 losses are both from forfeits, so that's obviously the thing that stands out. Also, it feels like weeks keep passing, days keep passing, games keep happening, and we still are left time and time again with sort of this amalgamation of uncertainty surrounding the middle of the pack. All of these teams are so close together. Howling eSports, aside from Laganma and arguably Lethal Rage, everyone else just they're right there. They're right there with each other. We've seen so much potential from all of these teams, and for the next couple weeks, for it, whatever it comes down to, we got 2 days of games left. That's it, and then we're into playoffs. And 3 of these teams are getting cut. They're getting axed. They're gone. They lost. Whoever those 3 teams end up being, it's gonna be really sad because I feel like all these teams are so similar in skill level. It's about who peaks at the right time, who can pull out their best, who can come out swinging the hardest in just these last couple days. And all these teams, like I said, they've all shown potential. They're so close in skill. It's going to be hard to say goodbye to any of them, but we're going to have to pretty soon. We're getting right down to that wire. So if you're one of these teams, if you're GTK, if you're GX, if you're Kolyevina, Fantastic Esports, Manaspa, it's time to get on that grind. We got 1 week left. 1 week and maybe technically 1.5 weeks. I don't know. We got 2 days. 2 days of games left. That's it. You got to get on it right now. This is it. This is grind time.
Yeah, it is grind time. This is the real time when the marbles are all on the table. It's game for all of them. Got to put out your best, and we'll see how it works out next week. We do hope you'll join us for our broadcast on Tuesday. We will have Lethal Rage going up against Galactics Esports at 1900 Central European Summer Time, followed by Monaspa versus Lauganma, seeing if they can stop the number 1 team an hour later. There should be some very good games. I am looking forward to them. Again, that is Tuesday, the 18th of August, so we hope you'll join us then. But overall, with that being said, on behalf of myself, my colorcaster, Baymax, the entire live broadcast crew here at the Howling eSports organization, we thank you all so much for watching, and we hope to see you next time. Good night.
Suck me in slow, breathe me in and let me go. Filling the lungs inside you, and the blackened eyes make my way into your mind. Just to know what you knew. Restless every time we start locking eyes. Lost control. Oh, it's paradise with honesty, but I'm in the dead of the night. Let the darkness take control. Let the darkness take control. Darkness take control. May the darkness take control. Take me in slow, breathe me in and let me go. Sink to your heart to find you. Open up your eyes till you're blinded by the lies, so you can see what you do. Restless